you own a rotary cutter, you've probably heard this before. The rear of your cutter should be 1 to 2 inches higher than the front. And I think there's an important distinction we need to make here. A rotary cutter can be used for two very different jobs. The first is traditional rough cutting, taking down tall weeds, heavy vegetation, brush, and fields that may be cut once or twice a year. In that situation, getting the material out of the cutter quickly and reducing recutting can be very important. And that's where the rear high setup can make a lot of sense. Cutting down tall weeds and vegetation is not how everyone is using a compact tractor and rotary cutter today. A lot of people buy compact tractors specifically for small acreage and property maintenance. They're mowing around driveways, maintaining trails, keeping small fields and pastures maintained, and trying to keep the property looking good. That's a very different job from knocking down a field of waist-high weeds. If I'm cutting inches of grass down to 4 inches, my goal isn't necessarily to process the maximum amount of vegetation as quick as possible. My goal may simply be to maintain a specific height and get a clean, even cut. So why would we automatically assume that the exact same cutter setup is ideal for both jobs? This is where I started questioning the whole idea. 6 inch dry grass is not the same thing as wet, heavy vegetation. The height and density of the vegetation matters, the moisture matters, and what kind of cut you're trying to achieve matters. If I'm trying to get through heavy vegetation as quickly as possible, I may want a different setup than someone who's trying to maintain a 4 inch field with a clean, even appearance. So already the idea that there is one perfect setup for every situation starts to get a little questionable. There's another problem with making a static measurement on a perfectly flat driveway. Fields aren't flat. I can set this cutter perfectly on level concrete, but when the tractor's front tires drop into a depression, the tractor changes its attitude. And when the tractor changes its attitude, the relationship between the tractor, the 3-point hitch, and the cutter changes. So that 2 inch difference I carefully measured sitting isn't necessarily 2 inches once I'm moving through the field. Here's another thing I think gets overlooked in a lot of these rotary cutter videos. The tractor itself matters. This is my John Deere 2038R on the right, and this is my 5 Series 5103 on the left. These two tractors don't control a rotary cutter in the exact same way. The 5 Series has draft control, which can respond to changes in implement load and changes the hitch position. My compact tractor doesn't operate the cutter in that same way. So when you watch a rotary cutter video that's being demonstrated behind a larger tractor with draft control, don't automatically assume your compact tractor is going to behave the same way. That's actually something I want to test separately in a upcoming video. Now I want to make one thing very clear. I'm using the John Deere MX5 in this video because that's the cutter I own. And I can show you exactly what John Deere tells the owner to do. That does not mean every rotary cutter from every manufacturer should be set up the same way. Different manufacturers design their cutters differently. Always consult your owner's manual for the particular cutter you have. I used other brands of rotary cutters over the years, and I found that I can change the cutting characteristics quite a bit by adjusting the 3-point height and the top length. But don't take what I'm doing here and automatically apply it to your cutter. Check your manufacturer's instructions first. I've been using rotary cutters for years, and something I've noticed is that you can get a surprisingly clean cut out of it. Keep the blade sharp, get the cutting height where you want it, and possibly adjust the cutter. And you can get a finish that's a lot better than what some people expect from a rotary cutter. I've actually gotten results that visually can come surprisingly close to what you'd expect from a zero-turn mower when the conditions are right. I'm not saying a rotary cutter is a replacement for a finish mower. I'm saying the quality of the cut can be dramatically affected by how the cutter is adjusted and what you're asking it to do. So where does that leave us? Does a rotary cutter have to be 1 to 2 inches higher in the rear? I don't think we can honestly answer that with a simple yes. There are situations where raising the rear makes sense. There are manufacturers that recommend it, and there are conditions where it can be absolutely be beneficial. But I don't think we should automatically treat it as a universal rule for every cutter, every tractor, every field, and every type of vegetation. So the next time you hear someone say your bush hog has to be 2 inches higher in the rear, I want you to ask one question: according to whose manual and for what conditions? Maybe the answer is 2 inches, maybe it's level. The important thing is understanding why you're setting it that way. Don't just do it because somebody on YouTube told you that's the only correct way. And there's another part of this that I haven't even gotten into yet. What happens when you put a rotary cutter behind a compact tractor with position control versus a larger tractor with draft control? I have both tractors, and I think the difference is going to surprise some people. It's in a video to come. Thanks for watching, and if you got anything out of this, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And as usual, buckle up, props up. The life you save may be yours. We'll catch you on the next one.